Greetings everybody, I am Lobo, welcome to Luna. This is episode 163 of my Minecraft survival series, and before we actually get started with today's project, we got a little bit more work to accomplish here at LOL headquarters, so why don't we go ahead and call Wolfred on over, put on a little bit of music, and... Gotcha! Got you, Wolfred Wolfins, if that is your real name. Well, I know it's your real name. That's confirmed. Do you have anything to do with Wolfins Laboratory, by the way? I've been meaning to ask you that because people have been compiling evidence against you, and I didn't want to believe them. What are you doing with the bread? The bread's not going to help you break out of this place. That's for eating, Wolfred. You just need to take some time and think about what you've done. Speaking about what Wolfred has done, let me go ahead and fill you guys in because I had a chance to talk with Watchdog. Turns out he has not been playing pinball this whole time, no. Instead, he's been trapped in a dark alternate dimension by this guy over here. Oh, Wolfred, I am so disappointed in you, not only for what you did to Watchdog, but for the ending to that storyline in general. It was so anticlimactic that it hardly seems like it's over. Now, it's my natural inclination to just abandon all Wolfins Laboratory projects at this point and let them fade into obscurity, but, after speaking with Watchdog, he's convinced me otherwise because we need to know what exactly they're up to. Why did they take him? What ends were they trying to accomplish with, such despicable means? It makes no sense to me. That's what we have to figure out. So, long story short, work will continue on all Wolfins Laboratory projects. Next up is going to be the Wolfins Aquatic Research Facility, the Guardian Farm, because we need to figure out what Wolfins Laboratory was actually hoping to accomplish with this place, and also, well, I need some Prismarine stuff. So, Loonies against Wolfins Laboratory Law will continue their investigation against Wolfins Laboratory. We're now back down to just two members, me and Watchdog, since, Wolfred unfortunately turned out to be a double agent. But let's go ahead and shift focus to the current project, the Guardian Farm over here, and let me kind of explain what's going on with this place. So, once upon a time, Luna was housed in a different dimension. We were in a legacy console world, and since then we've moved on to a Bedrock world instead. So we've kind of shifted dimensions, and as such, some stuff stopped working, such as this Guardian Farm right here. So our goal today is going to be to get this place back up and running, operational once more. And it seems the easiest and most sensible way to do this is to reduce the functionality of this a little bit. So it was once upon a time a farm that we could use for XP and also drops. Now it's just going to be for drops because this lever, it now accomplishes nothing. It's not attached to anything. It doesn't really do anything because we don't really need this farm to be dual function anymore. We just really need the drops because we have an Enderman farm that we actually use for XP these days. Now, as I said, I want the changes we make to this farm to be easy and sensible. I don't really want to undo any of the work we've done to this farm previously, just in case, there ends up being another dimensional shift. We have to be prepared for everything, right? So we're going to make just minor changes that will be easily reversible should they ever need to be. So we're going to be stripping this farm down to its basics, and I think we're going to further reduce the functionality of this by getting rid of additional mobs that spawn in here, because in addition to Guardians, we also had these drowned that were spawning in here. We had squid that were spawning in here, offering up their ink sacs, but I think we're just going to stick with Guardians for this particular iteration of W.A.R.F, Wolfins Aquatic Research Facility. Now, as some of you guys know, I am still new to Bedrock. I'm still figuring out how stuff works because, things are different in this dimension than others that I'm used to. And one of the things I do know is that Guardians only spawn in a few very specific spots. So I've made a copy of this world, a virtual simulation, if you will, to determine where exactly these spots are. And I do have the coordinates jotted down. I just need to go ahead and mark them out, or try, keyword try, to mark them out. Okay. Oh, see, there I go again. Oh my goodness. So basically, in Bedrock, there are 25 potential spawning spots for Guardians inside an ocean monument. They're laid out in kind of a 5x5 grid, so it's kind of easy to see what goes where, right? Once you actually figure out where those spots need to be. See? Now, we do have access to only 24 of those spots. Hopefully, missing one of those won't be too detrimental to us. I can't imagine it will be, just slightly reduced efficiency. Now, speaking of reduced efficiency, I am going to be trying to do my own thing with this Guardian farm because, you know, we have a structure built, and I would like for this new iteration of the Guardian farm to be built within the old Guardian farm, so I don't want to really take anything out or add too much unnecessary stuff. So, I don't know. Hopefully, this ends up working. Now, as far as the farm itself goes, this is going to consist of 24 individual chambers, which will both spawn and dispose of the Guardians, leaving us to collect the drops, right? Now, I don't want you to think this is a tutorial. I feel like this goes with pretty much anything I build. Don't think what I'm doing are tutorials. If you want something that's definitely going to work, I suggest you look up something that says tutorial, because anything I build, there's a high probability that it will just, you know, be bad. Now, that being said, you know, this is a pretty simple concept, so I wouldn't be surprised if it works and it has been done before. So if that is the case, please feel free to link, you know, a tutorial for whatever's like this down in the comments for anybody that might be curious. But basically, what we're going to have here is a room that's going to spawn Guardians, right? So Guardians will spawn in here, and then we're just going to have a little tiny water stream that's going to push them over the edge here into something that will eventually not just be complete darkness. So let's go ahead and add a fence gate right here. That way the water actually stops before the drop. That way the Guardians kind of resist the urge to fight the current. And as far as what awaits them at the bottom of the drop, I placed that in the wrong spot. Well, spoiler, we're going to have a soul campfire that awaits them at the bottom of the drop right here. That way we can take out those evil laserfish. Come here, sign. All right, you know what? That's going too fast. It's going back into storage. But basically, we're going to have a little collection system mounted underneath this, consisting of a dropper with a hopper attached to it underneath the campfire. So once the Guardians actually do get taken out by the campfire, their drops will go into the dropper, then get shot into the water streams we already have in place, and then put into storage. Now, if you're wondering why I've opted for these individual chambers rather than just giving the Guardians a space to spawn and letting the farm take care of them itself, it's because of the way the Guardians fight the current these days. They take forever to actually make it to the drop shaft, and given the mob cap, it's just not efficient. It's not going to get us nearly enough prismarine to do what we will eventually want to do with it, right? Now, before we continue building any more of the chambers, I do want to make sure they actually work. So I'm just going to hang out here and wait to see something spawn in there, hopefully, depending on how long these Guardians right here are able to stick around. Oh my goodness, you guys are spawning in all the wrong spots. I would be ever so grateful if you just stop taking up my mob cap. Alright, so here's an idea. Since I do want to make sure that the chambers will actually work before we go in and build the rest of them, I'm thinking for the time being we just go ahead and render all the other Guardian spawning spaces non-spawnable. And since... Ow! Okay, you guys gotta stop that. Since these pillars were something I was intending on getting here anyway, just to make sure Guardians spawn... Ow! Where we want them to spawn, it's no big deal to just go ahead and get them in here a little bit early. Okay, you guys gotta stop that. In the same spot on my back repeatedly. It's getting a bit raw. You know, there may have been a better way to do this, because what I'm realizing now, hold on, did not mean to open that up, is that we've got a lot of this done, right? More than half of it done, but that really just means we're concentrating the Guardian spawns to this one area which we're headed to, which obviously is not great. And it's a little hard to hide behind the pillars before the pillars are actually constructed. Oh, great. Here we go. Leave me alone. You guys are being incredibly rude. I just want you to know that. You know, personality-wise, the only thing I like about these Guardians is that they have very short attention spans. You hide behind the wall, they forget about you. Oh, no. Oh, okay. Let's get up a pillar. Get up a pillar. Whew. And it's like I'm not even here. It's like I'm not even here, except for now he has... clear line of sight towards me. There we go. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Yes. Guys, we have a Guardian spawned in the chamber. A Guardian has spawned in the chamber. So proof of concept for that aspect of this new farm we're building at least. And there we can see his items got spit out where they were supposed to. They're going to make their way through the water streams up into the storage system theoretically. Let's see if we can actually follow them so we can get like a full proof of concept of the farm. All right, so they go down this way. Appears right here we have some floating guardians, and you guys were supposed to be fixed. Okay, and then the items get shot up in here. They're going up through this water stream now. Did we miss them, or are they? No, we're ahead of them slightly. Okay, so we can see that that is the drop that's going to get washed over this way, and if I didn't pick it up, it would have ended up in these hoppers and then into our storage system. Oh, beautiful. Proof of concept, guys. There we go. And here is the last of our pillars now in place. And even more guardians spawning into that single chamber, which will eventually multiply by a lot. Now, this will probably be a fairly slow farm, considering that it does take a while for them to get roasted over the campfire. But I think we'll be good. I think we'll be good with multiple like chambers going. Yeah, that's going to provide us with exactly what we need. And I feel like it's inevitable that somebody's going to comment, well, a more efficient way to do this is to do this with this kind of witchcraft and wizardry. And yeah, I'm not interested in all that. You know, I like to figure stuff out for myself, and this is what I came up with, and we're going to roll with it, and hopefully it works out. So at this point, since we know what we're going to be doing, we can get the rest of our chambers built. Why don't we go ahead and call Watchdog on over here, put on a little bit of music, and get to work. Hi. Cut the music. Watchdog. Hey, you know you're facing the wrong way, right? You're supposed to be facing outward, so that way people can actually see what I'm doing. I know it's been a while, but you've literally, aside from the past couple of months, been doing this for your entire life. So if you could just kindly turn around. Perfect. Yes. All right. Let's go. Welcome back, everybody, and guess what? The Guardian Farm's running. The Guardian Farm is once more operational. We are getting our Guardian drops now. We do have a pretty good view from up here in our old AFK spot, and from this point, it does seem like we're able to activate each of the individual chambers, so we're good. We don't have to change up really anything else to get this thing operational. It's working just as it should be. One thing I do want to do, though, since this farm is about 100 times safer than it used to be, and this glass kind of obscures the view, I want to go ahead and make it so that way we can look down and just see everything working. So I just added a bit more lighting in here because, you know, this area is relatively safe now and, you know, it doesn't have to feel dangerous like it used to, right? But we can go ahead and have a peek and see our Guardian Farm in action. You can see the Guardians have already spawned over here. They got pushed down over the campfire. You can see we're getting some drops coming up now. I'm also going up. Let me see if I can actually get down here real quick. So you can see we have a pretty steady flow of drops coming in. That's what I would really like to see, is a steady flow of drops. It doesn't have to be a ton of stuff because keep in mind, I am a single player in this world. We're not providing for multiple people. But I would like to see a steady flow of drops, which is basically what we have. Not more than a second or so passes in between drops getting put away in storage. So yeah, I'm happy. So now that the Guardian Farm is back up and running, it's operational once more, the question is, what are we going to do with W.A.R.F itself, Wolfins Aquatic Research Facility? Because this project has sat idle for way too long, and we have a lot of room to build a lot of stuff over here. So I'm thinking eventually some farms may be in order, and given what this place is, I'm thinking those farms should be aquatic based. So we'll eventually build a coral and variance farm over here. We'll do a kelp farm. We will do sea pickles, which is something I'd really like to have more of, is sea pickles. I'd like to have some of those, period, not more of. Villager trades is also going to be a thing because we can bring some fishermen over here and kind of trade out the fish that the Guardians are dropping and stuff like that. But obviously we're not going to be, But obviously we're not going to be working on all that stuff today. What I want to do today is focus on getting the structure of this built out. Why do I have conduit effect? Why is my world strobing? Oh my goodness. Okay, this is weird. What I want to do today is focus on getting some of the layout of this place figured out. We'll eventually get around to actually building, but that's not going to be in today's episode. But since we no longer have this Guardian XP farm going, now it's just a regular old Guardian drops farm, we no longer need regeneration and resistance. We can go ahead and swap that out for some jump boost in anticipation of our forthcoming builds. Now, before we actually get around to figuring out the layout of this place, what I do want to do is figure out how we can beef up our floor a little bit, because as of now, it looks a bit flimsy. And what I'm thinking we do is kind of replicate what we have below this fence line on top of this fence line, like inverse. So be stair, dark prismarine block, then prismarine stair again. So let me go ahead and build that up. We'll do like a little sample section, see how it looks, and decide if we actually want to continue. It might be a little too beefy with, you know, 3 additional blocks height. So something I just realized, so note to you guys, note to myself, is eventually, meaning probably fairly soon, we're going to have to get a black dye farm going because we no longer have Guardians taking out squid for us and, you know, providing us with ink. And the dark prismarine blocks right here, they are fairly expensive when it comes to the ink aspect. So yeah, that might have to happen sooner rather than later. But there we go. Our sample section is now in. We can go ahead and back off so we can have a peek at it, decide if it's sufficient to meet our needs, and see if we want to extend those to the other sides of W.A.R.F. Oh my goodness. So yeah, looking at it, comparing both sides, I think I do prefer the beefy side to the non-beefy side. So from right here, you can get a pretty good idea of what each of the sides look like. I think this is a much better look for it. So if that's the height of our main platform, then our floor will be at this half block right here. So the question now is, what are we going to actually make that floor out of? I've gone ahead and laid out some options for us. And I mean, I guess this shouldn't be that hard of a decision, but I don't know. I've given it a once over. The ones that are actually standing out to me are probably the Blackstone and variants over here. So we've narrowed it down to the final 3 contenders. Let's see which one emerges the victor. I'm actually, I think, leaning towards probably the bricks here. I think that's probably what we're going to end up going with. So we know our floor is going to be on that level, which means we can start building in the foundations of our building on this level right here. And I think the first thing we're going to work on is getting the foundation of our central building in here, the one that houses our storage system, our nether portal, all that mess, you know? So getting the foundation in means we have to determine what shape we want our building to be. And I was just looking at W.A.R.F over here, and I noticed the corners are rounded. So what we're going to probably want to do is have that bit of cohesion by rounding off the corners of our structures in here as well. So what we could do is kind of add a little bit of a rounded edge to this like this, I think, and we'll see what we actually think of that. So let me go ahead and carve out these blocks. We'll get rid of the sharp corner here, just kind of have everything rounded off. I've said that way too many times, but let me go ahead and pick up these blocks and then we can see what we actually think of it. Yeah, so see, something like that should work. And one good thing about building the foundations of these buildings up a little bit is that we have room under here to add our, redstone maintenance areas. We'll have room for some passages if we decide we need secret passages, stuff like that, We just want to have some room to play with, really. And that should take care of the shape of our main room. Yeah, I like that. So I know we're going to take this step by step. So I know I want to have a blackstone walkway surrounding this building, so that'll be the next thing we focus on getting in place. And you know what, there's actually a pretty good chance we'll do blackstone for all our floors, including the interior ones right here. So let me go ahead and swap this out with our blackstone brick slabs, and we'll see what we think of it. You know what, I think I can get behind that. So I don't know if this is finished. Like, we got these little ridges right here. I'm not sure if we're going to keep those or not, but this is just to kind of get a feel for how this would look, right? And I think having the same type of floor throughout would really pull this thing together, make it more cohesive overall. I did also mention we're going to be doing the walkways out here in blackstone as well. From each of the main sides, we're going to have the pathways go all the way to the edges. And that's for ease of navigation, really. So right now I'm just considering like where we're going to have our structures, the pathways in between them, how easy it will be to get from structure to structure, so on and so forth. So yeah, obviously some planning needs to happen. And I think what we're going to do is just call Watchdog back on over here, put on a little bit of music, and try to figure all of this out. There you are, Watchdog. You know that was your cue. And what are you still doing down here anyway? This time lapse is over. We finished this one a while back. You can do your own thing in between time lapses. Of course, we do have another one to get to now. Are you paying attention to me? Listen, I know you've been through a lot, but I don't know, you're just not acting like yourself. We'll work it out. Come follow me. We got work to do. Hey, Watchdog, what are you doing up there? What? Hey, cut the music. What is going on, Watchdog? We're not done. I know I said you could leave between time lapses. We're not done with this one currently. What is going on with you? You serious? You just leaving? Well, I was hoping to get a little bit more accomplished in that time lapse, but we did run into some minor technical difficulties, but I guess that's for the best because, I really do want to take a little bit more time, kind of plan out this place, kind of figure out what farms need to go where and all that. So, I mean, it's all good, I guess. I don't know. I need to figure out what's going on with Watchdog. He's not himself lately. But this is probably a good time to call it for today anyway. I am out of time for filming this episode. And there will be more W.A.R.F to come, Wolfins Aquatic Research Facility. We're nowhere near done with this place, but yeah, that's going to be it for us today. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please be sure to hit that little thumbs up button. That would mean a whole lot to me. If you want to see more, please remember to subscribe. And as always, I just want to thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I deeply appreciate it. That is a pillar. The last remaining threat here, the Pillars of Doom. But yeah, that's going to do it for us today. Until next time, I am Lobo, and I will see you guys later.